Sometimes you'll need to make level adjustments from within the timeline of your project. And case in point, in this particular project, I have these two guitars that come in right when the song really hits its peak, but they last too long. What I want to do is have them fade out, but when the recording was happening, I didn't know how long to tell the guitar player to hold these chords. So I told him to just let them ring because I'm going to automate how they fade down from their original positions. And I'm going to listen to it right now in context with the whole song just to get an idea of how long they take to fade out. See, now they're just kind of in the way of all the other instrumentation. If I were to solo those channels and then maybe solo the guitar underneath it and take a listen, you can see that they just become overbearing after a short time. And that's why I want to change the levels over time. So I want them to be out by about measure 78, right about here. And to enable the automation, you can come to the tracks in the track list and enable the write automation, which is the W button. You'll need to do that on both of them so that you can move the faders and it will record the fader motions. And since you can now have the mix console as part of your project window, it's really easy to come to those tracks. And you can find them easily because they have the read and write automation on. And then what I'm going to do is quick link both of those faders together so that I can move one of them and they'll both move at the exact same level. So I will click the first channel, then shift click the second channel, and then hold down Alt or Option, and then type the S key for the quick link. Now when I move one, they both move. And while the song is playing back, I will move the faders down and watch the timeline so that I can see about where I want them to fade completely out. That felt pretty good. They lasted a little longer than measure 78, but that's where I kind of felt like they needed to go. You'll notice that as soon as I adjusted one of those faders, it opened up the automation lane underneath the channels that I had write automation enabled, and now we can see those fader moves. And if you need to open up those automation controls, you just hover in the lower left-hand corner of the track itself. That will show or hide the automation control. Normally you don't see that little caret. It's only when you hover over it that you see it. But since I was writing the automation, it actually opened both of those automation lanes. And so now during playback, since we're in read mode, I'm going to turn the write mode off, and it will perform those fader moves for me because they're now automated. Then you can go into those automation lanes and adjust the volume levels with your mouse simply by clicking and dragging those nodes around to adjust where the faders move, but they're going to be governed by the snap control. So I'm going to turn snap off right now so that I can adjust each one of those and place the node where I want. And if I wanted to draw my own automation, I can do that with the draw tool so that I can adjust the fader going down exactly the way that I want it. And you'll see that it draws in all those nodes to kind of smooth them out. Or if I wanted to draw in different shapes for that automation, I can come to the toolbar here and click on the automation button. But when I click and hold down my mouse button, I can see those different shapes. So I could choose a simple line to draw in automation from one place to another, like that. Or if I wanted a different shape, like a sine wave, then I could draw in that shape as automation. Or a parabola would allow me to add exponential style shapes, either by moving the fader up or the fader down. So if I clicked and dragged here, then I'm making an exponential curve like that. You can also use the eraser tool to erase individual nodes of automation. So whether you draw the automation in at the beginning or, like I did, actually move the faders to record the automation, that lets you add some motion to the faders in the middle of a project. And then the next section, I'm going to go over EQ.